Bonjour.
Bonjour, bonjour.
Vous m'entendez? Vous parlez français?
J'entends Natacha Tofield. Je ne vois personne, mais j'entends Natacha, je crois.
Oui, exactement, c'est moi. Vous êtes francophone?
Oui, oui, oui.
J'ai pas mis la vidéo.
Oui, je crois que mon accent le laisse supposer. On doit attendre un petit peu qu'on nous rejoigne. On va pas. We are waiting a bit that more people are joining us. So we wait about 1 minute. Hi, Tony.
Giardini, thank you. Hi, Natasha.
Hello. Okay. Hello.
Oh, hi.
The little one, it's a bit longer than I expected. No. Okay.
Is the youngest participant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Hello, everyone.
We are still waiting about 10-15 seconds, and then we can start.
Yeah.
We are 10 already.
Yeah.
We are 11. Hi, Scott. We are 12. Maybe 1 or 2 people more and we will start. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are about to start. So I was asked to facilitate this meeting. And this session is a good opportunity indeed to discuss more about, to exchange some views about monitoring and also to meet other people. So don't be surprised because some people might join us from other meeting rooms. So since we are not so many, I think we can probably fastly present ourselves. So, but very briefly. So for example, myself, I am Pierre-Denis Plesnier. I live in Belgium, but I've been working in Africa a long time, and I am a scientific collaborator of the University of Liège. So maybe Anthony?
Yes, Tony Vodacek. I'm at Rochester Institute of Technology in the U.S. I do remote sensing, and most of my collaboration has been with the University of Rwanda.
Thank you. Natasha? You are mute. You are muted. You are muted. Okay.
Okay. So, hello, I'm Natasha Pash. I live in Switzerland, but I work for 4 years in Rwanda to create the Lake Kivu monitoring program. So yeah, and I'm a biogeochemist.
Thank you. We have the Forêt ONG Dico Pera.
I'm sorry. I have a difficult to speak English. I can explain in French because I have.
I will translate. I will translate. It's okay.
Okay, please can you ask a question, please?
I mean, vous êtes une association qui s'occupe de quoi?
Oui, l'association c'est l'ONG FORED, Forum des engagés pour le développement durable.
Et vous vous intéressez au lac?
Oui, nous nous intéressons au lac parce que nous travaillons, nous assumons, nous sommes responsables d'une plateforme dénommée COOPER, dynamique communautaire pour la protection de l'environnement.
D'accord.
Et nous travaillons sur le lac Albert.
Ok, et votre nom à vous, c'est quoi? Votre nom?
John Lufukaribu.
Okay, so this is John Lukufaribu. He's working for an NGO called Foret, and they work on the sustainable development in the watershed of Lake Edward and Albert, I think also. Hein. Sur le lac Albert aussi. Hein. Okay, on the two lakes. Thank you. Scott, thank you.
Merci beaucoup, thank you.
Hi, my name's Scott Higgins. I'm a research scientist with the IISD Experimental Lakes area. I think for this group, the relevance is that I manage our long-term monitoring program. And my past research in Africa has been restricted to Lake Malawi, Nyasa. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Simon Otung.
Yeah, I am Engineer Simon Otuong Wijak, working with the Lake Victoria Basin Commissions as a water resource manager officer. Then I am very happy to meet the experts because I am in the need of the monitoring of the Lake Victoria basins and to have early warnings.
Thank you. And for what country? Where are you based?
Actually, I am based in Kenya. On the Kisumu town, which is on the Lake Victoria Basin.
Zuri sana. Maxon Goshera.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Maxon Gochera. I come from Malawi, and I'm working in Malawi with the Department of Fisheries. And my specialty is in freshwater sciences. And I am here at the Fisheries Research Station based in Monkey Bay, which is the main capture fisheries research in Malawi as an officer in charge. Thank you.
I've been visiting your place before.
Talent.
Talent.
I must have missed Scott. You know, Scott has worked on Malawi.
I know,
before, but I think I missed him too.
He told me.
Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Talent Daddy. I'm from Zimbabwe, but I'm currently based in Germany, where I'm working as a research scientist at the Helmholtz Center for Environmental Research. I'm involved in lake biogeochemistry.
Thank you, Talent. Kimboa, Richard.
Yeah, thank you very much. Kimboa Richard, I work with the Uganda Coalition for Sustainable Development, but also the East African Sustainability Watch Network. We are a CSO network that largely monitors Lake Victoria environmental situations, bringing stories from the communities to the LVBC Simon where he works, as well as the national, duty bearer, as well as the media. So our work is really monitoring stories that not really science, but also that's really stories that are happening everywhere around Lake Victoria. Thank you.
Thank you. James Last, maybe.
Yes, I'm James Last from Kenya. I'm working for Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute. I'm based in Lake Turkana, and my area of research is water quality and relating it to the fisheries of the lake. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Mudakiwa, I didn't keep track of all the names. Yeah.
That's a very long name. That's Ruana Mirindi.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, my name is Eric, and I work for Lake Kivu Monitoring Program in Rwanda, very locally based in Rubavu. So I'm in charge of water quality, especially in plankton monitoring on the lake, on Lake Kivu. Thank you.
Oh yes, we met in another meeting also.
Yeah.
Nibio. And Megan Ewald.
Hi, I'm Megan Ewald. I was a former Peace Corps volunteer working on Lake Malawi in Nakata Bay District. And I currently work for the National Ocean Service and manage a couple small forestry and aquaculture grants in Malawi.
Thank you. And Matt McCandless.
Hello, everybody. I'm Matt McCandless. I'm currently the Executive Director of IISD Experimental Lakes Area in Northwestern Ontario, Canada. I've been working in administration for many years, but prior to that, my interest was in mainly on the data side of things, on water quality modeling and hydrology, and that's why I have joined this session. Thank you.
Thank you. Beatrice Marwa. You are muted.
I'm Beatrice Marwa, Director of Fisheries and Aquaculture for the Lake Tanganyika Authority Secretariat.
Okay, thank you very much. Did I forget somebody? If somebody was forgotten, they should tell no, maybe. No, okay, fine. So we are 14 right now. So this session is, as I was telling, is a good opportunity to discuss more and to meet other people concerning monitoring. So this will last about 30-45 minutes. We will use English as a working language. Please mute if your microphone, if you don't speak. So now you have seen some, you have been listening and you've seen a few ideas about the long-term monitoring. So the main thing is that you might be, some people might be surprised because this is not like a huge monitoring in one topic. For example, if we study water, we are used to study, for example, 20 or 30 parameters. The idea is not that one. This will be going on during short-term project with a lot of parameters. But the idea here is to start with very few but very important parameters. But the challenge is not the number of parameters, but it is the long-term continuous monitoring. And even if we have, for example, water, even water temperature in the coast and the pelagic from time to time, a water profile, and transparency, which is very useful for as a proxy for biomass and biomass and the productivity is a good proxy. And if this was done, if this can be done every day, for example, at the coast, and every 15 days of in the pelagic area, in a continuous way during, for example, 30 or 40 years, if those data were done at the same time on all the lakes, this would be already extraordinary. Don't forget that there are many other parameters from remote sensing, from fisheries, from land use. So altogether, the number of parameters is not small, really. So this is the idea, is to do not many parameters, but in a sustainable way. So there are, of course, some topic about the parameters discussion, but another topic of discussion will be how to reach this organization. There are really two type of discussion, but anyway, here it is open to the various topics. So maybe some of you have already some question about what is presently done or what will be done. So the floor is open, and if somebody has already something to say, is welcome to say so now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let me start. I just said.
Who is talking?
Yeah, Simon.
Yeah. Ah, yes. Okay.
Simon. Simon. Yeah, I'm very happy to hear your presentation. It's a very wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
As you know, as I told you, I am the Water Resource Manager Officer in the Lake Victoria Basin in Kisumu, Kenya. So actually, I am very interested in your presentations, and then it was a very, very wonderful one. So you talk about the continuing monitorings of the lakes, which is you have a continuing data. So I want, for example, like you put about 3 stations, because the lake is one in Uganda, one in Kenya, which will be in Kisumu where I am now, and the one will be in Tanzania in Mwanza. So now we are developing the database. The purpose is for the water quality. So I don't know, in your experience, are we going to put the real times hydromet, which is the automatic one, which can give us the information daily, or what is the proposal, which is, because me, actually, now we are developing the database, but all for us to get the information, we're supposed to get the information from the member state or partner state, which is 5, which is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda. But the one which is within the lake are 3. So what your proposal? Which you can just, because I need early warnings, and I need the continual monitoring of the lakes. And as concerning the parameter, the very important thing is the water quality, and then the water levels, which is usually rising. That will go in the warning systems, and then also we can have the satellites can be used to monitoring the position of the rainfalls on the lake. So I guess you are inside in those issues. Thank you.
Thank you. I was struggling with the presentation I wanted to show, and so I've been listening to most of what you said. So you spoke about data, and indeed the idea is that every day, if possible, the data are collected. But for example, once a week, this is sent to central bases, and this is all the data from all the lakes are collected. Then there would be a quality check, just to be sure that the data is okay, that was recorded at the good time, etc. And then the data would be put into a database. And what I'm telling you about is not coming from me, it's from a discussion that was held with 200 people. And the idea would be that there would be maybe 3 types of access to those data. And this is, of course, to be discussed. But for example, if you've been producing the data, you have, of course, direct access. And direct access also to publication. Now, if somebody would be, for example, an authorized researcher, he would belong to an institution that is very closely linked to the monitoring. He would have also direct access, but there maybe he would have to ask you for publication if it is before 3 years, for example, you see? Or if you agree together, you publish as soon as you want. And then we have to discuss about other people. Those would have no access directly, but we have to talk about this. There could be some kind of summaries after 1 year, a monthly summary, for example, for the public, because it is very important also that the public and the authorities know that what is going on. So some information about the monitoring is really needed. So we have to find a good compromise between researchers that do collect the information and that, of course, are very keen on publishing their information, and this is very understandable, and some people that are completely outside of the program and that would like to use the information probably later on. You see what I mean? So this is something like this that would be, but of course, there will be some discussion and we will have opportunity to discuss more about this. So don't worry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Santé. Is there somebody else?
Yes, Kimbo, Richard.
Yes, I don't see you, but I mean, yes, okay.
Oh, Kimbo, Richard is my name. Kimbo.
Yes. Yeah, it's just that.
No, yeah, just to emphasize that last point you made.
Yes.
On the last point on complementing research and research users. I think for me, my interest is to see how do we make use of the research for those of us who are interested in translating it into for decision making, or to to secure that decisions are taken based on evidence. It has always been a challenge that people still need evidence all the time. So this, for me, I see an opportunity that whatever you are generating in this intervention will be very useful for us to secure that decisions are taken in line with the science. So the reason why I'm here is really to see how can translate the research into for those of us who are users on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a very good question, but of course we are going to discuss about this. But the first step, of course, is collect the data. And actually, often there is no data. So the very first point is to organize the collection of data. And once they will, and it's probable that there will be a topic coordinator for each field. For example, somebody looking that everything is harmonized for water, for another person for fisheries, for meteorology, for land use, for biodiversity. And then it's probable so that around this coordinator, there will be a team of people interested to analyze the data and to make a summary that will be available to different type of people, the general public, or other people, more specialized people. For example, if a message is really targeting fishermen, it should be presented in a different way. But we are only at the beginning. So this kind of information, discussion will take place in the next few months. So this is a very important point that you raise, and it will be discussed. But of course, the idea is not to tell and to send the data in a raw way to the authorities and to tell them, look, here are some time series and now you do whatever you want. No, the idea is that in between, we would have some groups that would be do some preliminary analysis. You are very right. Thank you. I hope it answers your question. If not, please tell me.
Oh, it's very fine, then. Very fine.
Thank you. Is there somebody else? Actually, I wanted to show you another PowerPoint, but so far I can't show it. I will try. Let me see. Ah, yes, maybe it will be working better now. So, yes. Do you see something from my, no, you don't see something from the,
Maybe I could make a comment related to that while you're trying to get your presentation up.
Yes.
So I was thinking about the question you had, and to expand on what Pierre Denis was saying, when you have when you are starting out your monitoring project and what you have are data, but no more than data, some type of data, you still need an expert to look at the data and come up with your decision. So someplace there has to be a person making those decisions. So you need the expertise. Once you start to have a very integrated, very comprehensive data monitoring and modeling system, once you start to measure everything you can possibly measure, then you can start to think about having more automated ways of making decisions. Some of the decisions can be made in, with artificial intelligence and so on, but that's down the road. And that takes some years to develop, and it requires a very comprehensive and very integrated monitoring system so that you're not missing something.
Yes, I do agree to Tony. This is very, very important. So there will be a need to have a team at some point to analyze those data, and so especially in your field of remote sensing. And since you took the floor, maybe you can let us know your ideas about what kind of, how could we proceed for the remote sensing? What practically could be done to start the remote sensing?
Sure, it's something I wanted to make clear. I think one of the people who got off of the meeting earlier talked about I think it's the UN program for using remote sensing now for monitoring the lakes. So as we all know, you've all seen the satellite images of the lakes. Those exist; they are there. One question is, or one problem is, you have satellite images, and you need expertise in order to translate that into some type of data product. So to get it to the managers, how do you do that? There's not only the processing of the data, but also the delivery of it, I guess. To some extent, with the way I know how to access satellite data, I have to be an expert just to access it and understand what I'm looking at and to pull the data. And so there's a capacity development issue there. So one answer to the question is the satellite data are there now, and they've been there for 30, 40 years. It's the problem is accessing them and having the capacity to access them. Then there's what I would think of as more the research end of it for a Lake Turkana, for example. When we have the satellite data of the lake, how do we know that it is accurate? And the truth is we don't. Right now, we don't. There has not been enough validation. There's no buoy on the lake. There's not enough data collection over the years of chlorophyll and turbidity and so on. And so we don't know that the satellite data is accurate. So yes, it's available. Yes, the data are there now. There's some capacity that needs to be developed to get to that point. And then there's another level of science beyond that.
Yes. I'd like to say something about for example, chlorophyll A, the values. I know that you told us that for example, MODIS is producing some data, and the problem sometimes is that it's not very sure about the calibration. I think this is what you mentioned last time.
Yes.
But I think it's very important also that we can see also chlorophyll A in two aspects. At the beginning, it is very interesting to understand, for example, when a bloom takes place at some place and at some in some sites and at some moment, this is already a very, very interesting information. Even if we don't know if it is 30, 50 microgram per liter of chlorophyll A, or if it is 15. So at the beginning, I would say it's more, it could be, I don't know, but it could be a more qualitative approach. You see what I mean? Because in the lakes, because of the wind, some blooms are very repetitive. For example, I've been living at the south of Lake Tanganyika for 4 years. And twice a year, there are huge waves. And this is very much related to the change of the wind, and some huge blooms take place. And during a project where I was working, we did look at 12 years of MODIS data, and it was very interesting. We could see some blooms happening exactly at the same, at a few weeks period difference every year at the same place, exactly at the same place. And this has been helping us to progress into the understanding of what is happening. And I have no doubt that if this was done at every lake, it would be already wonderful. So we have to talk about this, but the suggestion would be that maybe we could start at the beginning with some kind of pre-processed data, such as MODIS, to go faster. And then later on, we built a more precise study based on data on the field with various tools to measure the reflectance and other parameters. I think that would be already a very, very interesting start. Yeah. Tony, I don't know if you...
Yeah, again, the question then becomes, like, as with the MODIS data that you saw, it is there, right? All you have to do is know where to go to NASA data center and download the data, and then you have to have the software to look at it. So it winds up being, it's a capacity concept. And so then when you want to focus very specifically on these lakes, you have to make some decisions on how you're going to go about doing that. Do you want to leave the data where they are? Do you have to duplicate the data?
But it is possible. So
it is possible, okay. Right? Okay. But then you have to develop the expertise in order to go do it.
But we will have opportunities still to. I think I found a way to show you what I wanted. Do you see something?
Sure. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Sorry for. I don't know why there was something that was stuck. So I'll just show some additional information. I think we all know about the objective for the science, for the networking, and the capacity building. So many discussions were held for long-term monitoring at Lake Tanganyika. So this is what I've been talking about is based on those information that were held at Lake Tanganyika around 2010, 2012. So we have seen this. I won't talk. So this is what I was mentioning. We don't want to have too many parameters, else it might not be sustainable. So we should start with but that doesn't mean that in some place more cannot be done. And I'm sure that in some lakes, more is already done and more can be done. So, but let's see this as a common basis. And if more can be done at some place, this would be great. So among the many parameters, we could target on a very few, but if we could already start this process, later on it will be better to do more. For example, pH, conductivity, dissolved oxygen, turbidity. It is very important that somebody is trained about the calibration, because we don't want data that are not of the best quality. So it's better to not do measure some parameters if we are not sure of their quality. So if people are there with trained people, then we could do more. So automatic buoys, there will be discussion. The remote sensing, we have been talking a bit about it. Fisheries is very important. The catch per unit of effort and the catch assessment survey and the catch per unit of effort are extremely important. And if more can be done, that would be nice. So meteorology is extremely important to install some meteorological station, because in many places they are missing. Information is missing. And change from the baseline, this is a topic about biodiversity that we will talk more about during some meetings. So this is a summary. So for example, the temperature, the Secchi disk would be measured near the coast every day, and in the pelagic area, if possible, every 15 days or every month. And if possible, an automatic buoy would greatly improve the data, the number of data collected, fisheries, biodiversity, land use. So I'm going fast because I think we are about to finish. So the station where they will be based, we have to discuss about this. This is preliminary. The idea would be between 2 and 4 stations per lake. And remote sensing, we should include also the basin, because land use and erosion is very important. We need to know also if erosion is a problem everywhere. I know where it is a problem, but in some area I don't know. For example, Lake Turkana or some other place I don't know. So this is a summary. During short-term sampling, a lot is done during 2-3 years, much more. But what we speak here is a long-term monitoring that is independent of short-term financing. That is going on even if there is no short-term, so that there is a continuous monitoring. And this is really a different type of monitoring than what we are often used to do in short-term projects. So we want key basic data to be collected without any gaps. So soon I tell you, all of you, we will send you some surveys, a document, and we ask you to complete this. We need to know more about you, what you are doing or what you have been doing, and where you work and with what instrument. Same thing for the institution. Where are they? What are they doing? Especially for water quality, fisheries, climate, biodiversity, land use. So we need to know more about their address mail, for example, where are they based? So we will send some form like this soon. And please kindly answer them and send them back to who's in charge of the monitoring at ACARE. Then, for example, this is what is needed for one country. We need to know the institution for water quality. Régie des eaux, for example, is mandated. Some institutions do have a mandate, some don't. But for example, a university often does not have a mandate, but they can be very important partners for to be involved for some aspect. So we need to know those institutions for every topics in each country. And for example, this is an example for Burundi. Then I won't detail this, but there is a plan on how we are going to proceed with objective, database, remote sensing. We need to talk about the political support. We need to contact directors, to meet the directors, and then to visit their institution, to see the capacities, to discuss with them what is feasible, and then to have some agreement of understanding in some way, or a chart that could be signed. And then we can start with the training, field manuals, and then later on biodiversity, land use, and additional indicators. So there will be meetings, for example, every month, but in between documents will be sent to people, and please send them back to who is in charge of the monitoring or the monitoring team. And then there will be, ideally, a synthesis, so that at the next meeting, we can proceed much faster, because with document, we can ask much more questions than during a meeting. So at the end, and I think it's about time to finish, I want to thank everybody for the collaboration, because this is really about the setting up of a monitoring of the African Great Lakes. So this is very, very important. And this is actually much more than a scientific monitoring. And it is also about building a networking. And I thank you for the collaboration. Thanks a lot. So if you have still one or two questions, we are going to finish probably soon. Yes, is there any? Here is a comment by Matt.
Just one quick question, I guess for you, Pierre, Denis, also for Tony and everyone. It sounds like much of the monitoring that we're talking about is in the lake itself. I wonder to what extent upstream monitoring in tributaries would and should factor into this.
Yes, I think it is very, very important, and I know it is done in some places. For example, I know some teams in Tanzania, Burundi, Congo, and Zambia would do this kind of thing. And I think, but we should I think this is probably better at the beginning, that we don't start everything, but we keep this in mind. And for example, at the beginning, when stations are visited near the lakes, that we address this question to see for the next step what can be done into rivers. because it is very, very important.
Hello.
Yes. And Beatrice has something to tell us.
Jambo, shikamoo. Shikamoo. Mimi simuona nilikupigia.
I don't know if you want to talk with us, Beatrice. I don't think so. But if you want, please raise your hands or let us know. So is there somebody else?
Well, just to, I think, just to answer Matt and to expand on what Pierre Denis just said, this is where I would think of it as when you start to think about the very integrated system, then we're going to need the runoff, you're going to need the watershed, but we got to start someplace. And I think Pierre Denis, the idea of let's just focus on these few parameters that we know we can get now, and also even if it's coming from buoys or coming from sensor systems on the ground or from the lakes, they're the things that we know we can quickly measure and do it well. So, and it's a starting point, I think.
Thanks.
So yes, the answer to your question is yes, but maybe down the road a little bit.
Yes. If we could already start with what is on the table, I think it would be wonderful, really. Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Simon.
Yeah. My understanding is that that one is a project for the monitoring of the Africa Great Lake. So
a long-term project. We speak of 40 years or more. Huh?
Oh, it's a long-term project. So I think it's good that according to what you said, that we will start with the lake. And as some of my colleagues talk, because the lake is impact with what is coming from the watersheds, which is coming from the river and so forth. So for now, let us start what you said with the lake, and then later on we can answer that question of the impact which is coming within the catchment. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. And I could add also that if those information are already collected and people do agree to work together, of course, it's just a matter to add a few tables in a database. And it would be already very possible in some place to actually proceed in that direction. I have no doubt about that. Yes, thank you. Yes, for it, but I will translate in French, but it's a bit. Oui, en français, mais rapidement alors. Non, je vous entends pas, je vous entends pas. Ah oui.
Ok, merci beaucoup. En fait, par rapport à la base de données que vous êtes en train de parler, je voulais savoir, par exemple, nous avons vraiment beaucoup de données, nous avons des données, mais en français. Est-ce que c'est facile de vous transmettre beaucoup de données en français? Vous allez nous aider pour la traduction. Je dis, je vous remercie.
Tout à fait. Okay, thanks. What he was telling that they do have a lot of data, and he was asking how he could send it to us. So this is really a great information, and of course there will be a whole aspect that we didn't talk about here, but it is very important, is historical data and baseline data, and this is of course extremely important, and this is a whole topic by itself, and we didn't mention it too much, but it's very nice that already we have a proposal of participation into this field. Thanks for it. Okay, I guess at some point we will need to leave this meeting. So I think it's time to close. So I thank you everybody, and I hope many of you, we will find you during the discussion group of the monitoring that will take place in the near future. So I say good evening and goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.